Some of you may remember a while back I did a review of Black Death, a really interesting adventure within a low magic setting that contained light horror themed material. I'll leave a link down below in case you want to check it out. So when searching for a decent horror module within the Neverwinter Nights universe, it seems this creator of Black Death has a knack for making short, interesting forays into this topic. Take for example the one we're looking at today, Symphony of Horror, a short module that can be completed around 2 hours, designed around a custom character that will be at level 1. Just a heads up, you start as a ranger, but through the course of the module you can level a few times and follow a different path. Now, the shops sell items primarily built around the premise of a ranger style character, so think long range weapons and smaller melee weapons. Traps are non-existent, or if they do exist, it's primarily displayed already and used as an obstacle. Roleplay doesn't exist, with only a smattering of choice or decision made in conversations or environment. But before we dive too far down this rabbit hole, remember, if you like this style of content, to go ahead and give a thumbs up and subscribe. Let's go ahead and dive in. The opening is without question very entertaining. For a short time, the narrative had me believing my character has slipped into madness, and I had a lot of this Lovecraftian vibes going on at first. It isn't until we're transported to where our PC is talking about his birthday, a flashback where we can actually play in, that some of what is happening begins to unravel. I'm like, okay, so this is where the story's going to hit. Even with that being said, there is still some lingering doubts in my mind that something super sinister was happening even all the way up to the end. I don't know if this was the intentions of the creator, but this was totally where my headspace went, and I think it added a lot of flavor to the playthrough. What is given is pretty interesting. There is a short back history of this entire realm of population that revolves around the principal notion of enslavement and supernatural rulers, and how those slaves fought for their freedom. Now you fast forward to the PC's timeline, and it quickly fleshes out a lot of why someone in this normal society thinks differently as they rebuild their civilization. For example, in our world we say things like drink your milk, it'll make your bones strong. In theirs they might say eat your garlic, it'll help protect you from your former masters. While I do feel the beginning was top notch for creating this world, by the end that punch wasn't carrying enough weight to see it through, and I felt that it had a really weak conclusion that could have been used with a little more work on grandstanding these notions introduced. As for the gameplay, the difficulty spike is felt really early on, and then it just kind of levels off and it actually becomes a lot easier. Your character is relying a lot on stat ability rolls to make it through, since ability wise there really isn't much for you to do, which in the end means to buy plenty of smart consumables from the vendor. This is important because vendors are a scarce commodity. While some of the interesting weapons that you can purchase may grab your fancy, in the end just having a supply of healing potions is the ticket. Or you can be really cheesy in tougher sections like I did, where I cleared a large map with ease because of being able to rest in a small section of a tree. While I said I was impressed with the beginning, I think I should elaborate, because this is one of the best modules that I've played, where it puts the players in the shoes of what many people witness in solid openings of horror movies. That is, being the victim and having to react to the situation appropriately, where a sudden twist of events makes everything they know and love turn absolutely upside down and force them to make decisions they thought impossible the moment before. As the story progresses, a lot of this supernatural tension and suspense begins to wane. But all that being said, we're left with some really nice Easter egg goodies as Symphony of Horror is a showcase of the good old monster gallery, including setting up some interesting characters we meet along the way. It's a real true Halloween treat if you ask me. The atmosphere is set well, but like I said before, the weight of tension is devoid by the end setup, where I just felt like adding a few twists might have given this more legs to stand on. The tile sets really are just pretty much functional. While some standouts were the later pieces, I'll avoid showing them for the sake of spoiling the narrative of the module itself. And the music was well purposed. Here's a short cut of it. Symphony of Horror is an above average module that's actually pretty short, and sometimes that's what you're looking for, especially if you're in the mood for something of a darker setting for an evening. While it doesn't particularly break the mold in any category for module work, it comes across competent and clean, with an easy story to follow and some interesting world building themes going on. In the end, my final review is that it's definitely worth checking out, but I'm going to go ahead and call a wrap on this review. Have a great day gaming. Later.